Hello sunshines, welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on most of the internet places. Today is a gloomy day, gloomy, dark, dreary day in April. A beautiful spring day in my opinion. However, I'm not here to talk to you about that. Hopefully you're seeing this on or after May 15th if all goes to plan, because this summer I would like to do a summer sock bucket challenge. So I have this bucket right here, basket, bucket, whatever, full of yarn that was purchased this year, and everything that's in a bag, or this right here, I would like to use up in its entirety this summer, which that's a hefty goal. This is my stretch. This was also bought this year, so like if I get all of the other things worked in, then I will also try to use this. But that's a lofty goal. However, I have plans in each of those project bags, and the one yarn cozy that's not in a project bag. I guess also the one yarn cozy that is not, there are two yarn cozies not in a project bag. My plan is to make a pair of socks out of each of the skeins of sock yarn, or a pair of leg warmers out of the DK weight yarn that I have wound up. And then after I make, well, we'll talk about the DK later. Let's just focus on the sock weight yarn. I want to make a full pair of socks. I have recipients in mind for all of the yarn. I think only one pair is for me. I think that's accurate. However, then I also want to make a shorty sock using each yarn, because I can get a full pair of socks and a shorty out of 100 grams of yarn. Especially if on either of those I use contrast yarn. And then I would like to work the leftover remnant of yarn into a blanket at least. Ultimately, everything's going to end up in the jelly roll if it doesn't end up anywhere else, but I have several scrappy blankets. I have, in order of how things will be worked into things, mitered square blanket, nor'easterly, bias strip, African flower blanket, hexapuffs, but they'll just be half hexies because I have some little edge pieces to fill in. And then if it makes it through all of that and there's still yarn left over, I'm not saying that every scrap is going into every blanket because different blankets have different rules, but if I have yarn left over and it's worked into the blankets that I want it to be worked into, then it's going to go into the jelly roll blanket, and that's where it's going to live its life. So of course I need to have a tracking system for this, because I live for tracking things for myself. I don't always talk about them on the vlog or the monthly wrap-up things, but for myself, pen and paper is where it's at for making sure, I'm working on a sock currently, for making sure that things get done. I'm going to change the angle on this, and we're going to have a little tour of the yarns that I have in my basket. This is where this basket lives. And before I take you on a little tour of the yarn that I plan on using this summer, you will see once I have pulled out the yarns that there's some other yarn in there. It's just, that's where it's living for now. It wasn't bought this year. Some of it is destined for other projects. Some of it is just kind of holding right there because it's not fingering weight. So I don't want to put it with my fingering weight yarn stash, but it's also not acrylic. So it's living in the basket for now. But by the end of summer, I would mostly like this basket cleared out. Let's look at what we have. First is something that I am hoping to have finished before this video even goes out. Not cheating, just, you know, getting a head start on my goals. The yarn is from 716 Knit. It is 716 sock, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and the colorway is "Thank you for taking what I just said earlier and shouting it at me." I am making a pair of rye inspired socks. I think there's a rye light pattern. I did not read the pattern. I know my numbers for making socks, so I threw a garter stitch panel on the sock. But the rye pattern by Tin Can Knits is a really, really great, not quite vanilla sock if you're looking for an adventurous sock to knit. Either a very adventurous first sock, the instructions are great, or, you know, you've made a vanilla sock and you want to branch out a little. I'm on the first sock and I am through the gusset. So hopefully this will be finished before this video even goes up. I think that I know that at this point, this is going to be done by the end of summer. Now let's see what else I plan to work on. I have this leftover. I made a pair of socks in March. Did I finish it in March or did I finish it in April? Maybe I finished it in April. For one of my students, the yarn is, sorry, I dropped the label on the ground. Nooch Fiber Morningside Sock, 100% superwash merino wool, in the colorway Empire. I want to make myself a pair of shorties using this because I guess I should talk about this a little. My shorty stash is getting small. A lot of my shorties were knit with a Fish Lips Kiss heel, which I loved knitting, but have come to the realization it doesn't fit my foot very well. And so they kind of slip off sometimes or slip into my shoe, and I don't like that at all. So my hope is by the end of summer to have knit enough shorties to replace all of the shorties in my sock stash that have Fish Lips Kiss heels. I don't know what number that is. I guess I could pull those out and look at some point. But I have also been slowly starting to give those to my littlest because she has slightly smaller feet. And her feet are just built a little bit differently than mine. She did not get my feet. So I think that'll work really, really well for her and for me because she wears shorties all the time during summer. We are not a sandal family. Like, we don't hate sandals. We just don't really wear them. So this just needs to go shorty and then blankets. I guess I could talk about which blankets I'm really hoping for them to go into. So the 716 one that I just showed you, I would really, really like a miter square and a flower out of it and a little bit into the nor'easterly and the bias strip. If it gets into the other things, cool, but those would be my hopes. I would also like this mitered square flower. I could put it in the nor'easterly and bias strip or not. Hexapuff or not. Like, it's pretty. I just, if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. What is next? I never talk about bags. Do you care about bags? This was from Kitchen Counter Crafter. It used to have the, this like pieces of plastic in here to keep this, whatever, words. But I snapped one on accident, and so I took them out. But it's still like this cute fabric. I have thoughts about like wanting to sew in a zipper, and then I just don't do it. What's in here? Ooh, this is a pair of DK weight socks for me. Although the DK weight socks that I made for my best friend, the wellness pie, I think it was called, my best friend said that they're a little bit too tight around the ankle to get on. So I might be making these for her and then just giving those other ones to my daughter. But this is Fibernymph Dyeworks on the Strong DK, the Pollinator Collection Luna Moth. I guess this is good. I forgot that I had a pair of DK weight socks for myself. So this won't get a shorty. And it won't go into any of my fingering weight blankets. So it'll be strictly socks and then going into the jelly roll blanket. This is not in a project bag. This is 716 knit, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I happen to be a very powerful man witch. So this is the yarn, and I want to make these for my aunt, the one who lives far away, because she likes reds and yellows and oranges and stuff like that. I don't know that I would make myself a shorty out of this. I do not like reds and yellows. It's not my jam, but maybe shorties for my littlest. Also, my aunt has really big feet, so this will, even not making full length socks, like this will take a different amount of, that'll take different amount of yarn than making a pair of full length socks for someone else. But yeah, maybe I will make a pair of shorty, or not a pair, a single shorty for my daughter out of this. So a pair of shorties for my aunt, a shorty for my daughter. And then, I don't know, maybe some of my other blankets. Again, it's not really colors that I'm drawn to. And probably a hexie, because there's all sorts of colors in that blanket. But maybe not any of my blankets who the intended recipient is me. I guess it would also be cute as a flower. Again, the intended recipient of the flower blanket is not me. And then this cute bag that Kalisha made me of Quirky Monday. What's in here? Another 716. There's a lot of 716. Not all of it is stuff I bought. The red and orange was a gift, but I did place an order from 716. So this is 716 sock, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. If you can escape the womb, you can escape anything. This one's not a striping. All of the other ones so far have been, right? Yeah, all of the other yarn I've shown so far has been striping. This is not. This is a variegated. And this is going to be a pair of socks for my boyfriend. And then a shorty for me. Even though I'm not really into the yellow, I do like the yellow and teal together. And then a mitered square, a flower, probably bias strip, a tiny nugget in the nor'easterly, a little hexapuff would be good. We'll see. We'll see how far it gets. This is sounding really ambitious. I think my sister got me this bag. Normal is a setting on the washing machine, nothing more. But maybe not. Maybe someone else got it for me. I don't think I got it for myself. In this bag, very exciting, is Mus Stash Yarn in the Firework colorway. This is the perfect self-striping sock pair. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And the yarn is really pretty. It's split into 2 cakes. And it's a really cute rainbow. It does have pink in it, but that's okay. Pink instead of red. That's fine. I don't love rainbows that substitute pink for red, but I don't hate it either. And it's just a rainbow sock, and it does go in rainbow order, because I was like, oh man, what if it doesn't go in rainbow order? Because some people switch up rainbow order really well and some people don't, but this is really lovely. These are going to be a pair of socks for me, so maybe a shorty for my youngest kiddo. Maybe just put it in the other blankets. I don't know about these ones yet, but I am excited for these socks for me. I have another sock that I already started because I thought I was going to work on it, and then I realized that I wanted to make the blue and purple socks for my coworker's birthday, which is on a deadline, so I set these aside. In this bag, just a little linen bag, I have more 716 knit. It's called Pam is a Trans Ram. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. I actually have 2 socks of this going, but one's in my car. It's my car knitting for if I get stopped at a train or if I run a kiddo somewhere really quick and they're just running in and out and I wait in my car, that sort of thing. So I have the cuff. This sock is going to be for my littlest. I am also going to make a sock for my oldest. That's started with the leftovers because I've already made a pair of socks out of this yarn. If you've been here, I'm going to briefly explain. So sorry that this is repeating, but for those of you who are new, who are catching this video for the first time, not this video, this vlog for the first time, I ordered 2 skeins of this colorway because my work daughter, who has very big peats, asked for a pair of socks and she wanted these colors. And I had intended to make her full-length socks, but I provisionally cast on to work down the foot because I just like doing decreases better than increases on socks. And then I was going to pick up and work up and make a full-length leg. I had her try on the finished shorty of the first one to see if the fit was right, and she was like, "Ooh, I like shorties." So then I bound off. And I have a full skein left plus, I don't know, 15, 20 grams of another skein probably. I'm going to make at least a single sock for my oldest, a single sock for my youngest, a shorty for myself, and then put it in various blankets. But that's already started, so that'll be easy to pick up sometime, especially if I need like movie knitting, something like that, which I hope to have a lot of this summer. I just like going to the movies. In this bag that one of my very first knitting friends made, she wove the fabric and then sewed in the zipper, sewed up the bag. I have more 716 knit in a striping colorway called Welcome to Planet Pocket Protector. It is bright, and this has to be for my best friend. It has to. I thought it was going to be for me, but it has to be for her, actually. I think there's like a 50% chance that I have another skein of this in my stash. If I manage to get through all of my summer crafty goals, I might go look for this to see if I have it in my stash, the other skein, and make myself a matching pair. But otherwise, I'll just make myself a shorty. I'll make her a pair of socks and me a shorty. I definitely want this to go into my bias strip blanket for sure, because I have like self-striping strips in my bias strip blanket, and I love to document Jenna's yarn. Jenna, the dyer behind 716 Knit. And last but not least, I have from Miss Babs a Yowza mini skein. It is DK weight yarn, 100% superwash merino wool in the colorway Charmed. It is beautiful, but I had a winding issue, so it ended up splitting itself into 2 balls of yarn. They're not even. They're not super far off, but they're not even. And these are going to be leg warmers for my littlest. She likes the color. She wears leg warmers all the time because she's very, she's not petite because she's not short enough to be petite, but she's like very skinny. So she gets cold very easily. I will not be surprised if now that she has leg warmers, they go to the beach with us, honestly. And I don't know if I want to put a pattern on these or not. I don't know if I want to put patterns on anything in this basket, honestly, but I kind of think I do. Like a cute little lacy pattern. She has a pink pair of leg warmers that I made her that are like the rye sock sort of pattern, the garter panel. But I kind of think lacy leg warmers would be really cute for her. That's all the yarn that I have in my bucket that I want to use this summer. And then stretch goal, that skein, because that is new from this year. The leg warmer yarn, if there's any left over, which there may or may not be, if there is, it's going to go straight into the jelly roll blanket because it's DK weight. But I'm super excited. I'm going to go set up my journal now because I'm really excited about all of these projects. But before I put the footage of that, do you have plans for the summer? Are you a craft more during the summer person, a craft less during the summer person? Do you just keep the same rhythm? Sorry, I have family. They're walking up and down the stairs outside my room. What does your summer look like craft-wise? I would love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you do have specific plans, so like generally speaking, how does your summer work? But if you have specific plans, I want to hear about it. What do you want to make? Do you think that I can get through all of these yarns? Because I don't want any of these yarns left in the basket at the end of summer, which let's say the end of summer is August 31st. Do we think I can do this by August 31st? I am starting now a little bit, but I'll be starting like with gusto in June. So what do you think? All right, let's go. Let me go, I guess, journal this out.